what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Hot Gamers Only, the show where we talk about everything that's hot in the world of games. I'm your host, Ethan, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host with the co-most. It's Hunter. Hey, Hunter, how's it going?
Oh, it's just going swell today.
I feel like every time
old.
I feel like we're 18 episodes in now, and it's like I feel like one day that joke will die, but it still hasn't.
I left a noticeable hesitation there just to keep you in suspense.
When it finally does die, we need to make like a hypercut of all the times he said that. Or just
I feel like that's why. I feel like that'll be like, yeah, on our 50th episode, we'll just have to have like a supercut highlight of every time Hunter said "swell" on the podcast.
Oh man!
Oh, so you didn't say it last week.
Oh, but I set it up to be said. Eventually,
he made a joke about it as well, so we could always add the joke of him saying "swell." Now we're also joined by
"swell" came out of my mouth.
The Weeb Wonder himself is here. Hey, Kyle, how's it going?
Hello, I'm doing well.
Hey. Just well.
Well. We're not at the S rank yet.
God damn it. Okay, but yeah, as always, this is Hot Gamers Only, where each week we come to you to talk about everything that's happening in the world of games. You can find us on podcast services everywhere and on YouTube and SoundCloud. If you want to go to the YouTube channel, bit.ly/thegiggers, go hit us with a sub. We really appreciate it. We come to you every Monday at 5 p.m. UK time, 12 p.m. Eastern. Work it out for the rest of the time zones. I'm sure you can. I have faith in you. And yeah, this week our topic is the topic we promised we'd also cover last week, which is talking about the rest of the games coming out this year. Which is everything except for Nintendo, because other than one game that we'll talk about pretty early on, who knows what Nintendo's doing? Nobody. That's always fun. I can't wait for us to...
Deadly Premonition came out on the Switch earlier this week.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. Too bad it missed the cut, dude. Just too bad it missed the cut for the
came out in the awkward time to not be talked about in old games, but too early for later games.
Yeah.
Don't worry. We'll also be joined by Jack and Kane at some point during this, where we will supercut a little conversation I had with them about some games as well. So everyone's here except for Sam, and I wanted to get Sam to talk about Yakuza, but he wasn't around today. So, oh well. Better luck next time, Sam. Maybe one day you'll talk about Yakuza on the podcast. So starting off, I don't know about you guys. I know you guys have got your lists. I've basically got like a release order here, I think, of games coming out.
Yeah, I've just got a list of games coming out sitting in front of me.
So let's talk about some of the ones that are coming out really soon, right? So I'm going to start with one that we actually are excited about, and then we'll talk about the other one that's coming out on the same day. Let's talk Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima is out on Friday, if you're listening to the podcast on the day it comes out.
It feels crazy that that's going to be out on Friday, honestly. Yeah. It just kind of
I'm not ready, yeah. It's just out of nowhere.
Like, I knew there was a decent bit of time between The Last of Us and Ghost coming out, but it doesn't feel like it's been that long yet.
There was an exact month between them, and it doesn't feel like it's been a month since we started playing Last of Us, which is crazy. So yeah,
I am excited. Ghost of Tsushima looks really good. I'm interested to see what they do as far as the story. They're keeping real close to their chest, and all of the gameplay mechanics they're introducing seems like a cool spin on things we might have seen in other games before, or their own way of contextualizing that kind of game.
It seems like they are really keeping everything close. From what I've heard, we haven't even seen anything of this game, really. Like they've been keeping this game well hidden for the entirety of its development.
Honestly, though, we didn't even know what the thing was until a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it was like 2017 we finally found out after they'd worked on it for like 4 years.
I think it was 2018 actually, because its first trailer was in the E3 where they kept moving everyone, wasn't it?
No, it was released. It was announced at Gamescom or Paris Games Week or something before then. I think that was the only. Okay. Yeah, because that was like it was just randomly in September. They were like, "Hey, here's Ghost of Tsushima." But no, they've been really keeping it to the chest. Apparently that first trailer that we saw of Ghost as well. Apparently that isn't even a main quest. Apparently that's a side quest as well. So I'm like, God, what even is this game? Like, I don't even know what this game is, but I'm excited to find out, and you'll find out on Friday. We'll have our first impressions up next week. Probably if everyone gets their copies in time.
Mine should.
I feel like we say that. I feel like we say that every time, and then we have like a little mini panic, like a couple of days before. Like
because a couple of days before they play with your emotions, only to deliver it to you on time, as if they didn't just scare you.
So we're gonna play a bit of a fun game with some of these games. So I asked Kane and Jack this earlier, but we're just gonna keep it. How well do you think it'll be received? That's my question. We're not guessing numbers. We're not doing anything like that. I just want you to, if you were to guess what reviewers will think of this game, how do you think it's gonna go down?
The audience at large will like it more than The Last of Us 2. That's my guess.
I feel like that's a safe bet. What about critics? What about critics though? What will those wacky guys be up to?
I feel like it'll do pretty solid critically as well. Like, if anything, the one complaint I could see people having against it is if it turns out to be a little too derivative of the whole open world thing. But I don't think that that's going to happen. I feel like they'll bring enough to the table of their own to make it feel unique.
Yeah, I'm really interested. This is like the first time that Sucker Punch has done something new in like over a decade, and I'm so excited for it. Like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was, but like, for like 4 days away. Let's get it. Not too long. Kyle, how do you feel about Ghost? As someone that's just kind of been looking at it every now and again.
So I wasn't even paying attention to Ghost until like a couple months ago when you told me to watch a trailer for it for the podcast, and honestly, I was really taken back by how well everything looked. It all just looked really fucking pretty. I'm really looking forward to playing it, straight up.
Yeah. It's going to be fun, and Sucker Punch is a great studio. Like, I feel like it's the underrated studio of PlayStation Studios now, I guess they call it. What was PlayStation Worldwide. But I feel like they're always kind of just forgotten about.
Yeah, people say something
great stuff.
They'll go often and loudly about Naughty Dog and then bring up Insomniac, but I don't feel like Sucker Punch gets brought to the conversation that much.
I feel like Sucker Punch just kind of made the Sly trilogy and then kind of got forgotten about.
Infamous 1 was people loved Infamous 1, but then Infamous 2 kind of dipped a bit, and then Second Son was a good game, but I don't think people liked it as much as the other ones, so they've kind of been on the down. But I'm hoping that this is I hope this is Sucker Punch's game. I hope like how God of War 2018 was Sony Santa Monica's game. No, everyone was like, oh yeah, it's the God of War people. But then when they actually released God of War, they were like, holy shit, this is great. I really hope that this is their game for that moment, so that people start seeing them as equal to Naughty Dog. Because Sony has so many studios, and Naughty Dog isn't the only one. And I feel like they all get left out. Going from a great game to something that I don't think any of us want to play. Paper Mario, everybody. Hey, Paper Mario is out.
Oh, give me the beating stick, Ethan. Give me the beating stick.
The beating stick, because I know nothing about Paper Mario. So, Cal, tell me why you aren't excited for this game. Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you why you shouldn't buy the game, at least from like an RPG player standpoint. So it's doing that thing again what the last 2 Paper Marios have done, where battles are pointless and don't even give you any experience points or anything like that, and you just get rewarded with money. And in addition to that, they also made what looks to be a pretty convoluted battle system, like what Sticker Star and Color Splash did. And it's just it's really confusing. I don't know what Paper Mario wants to do anymore. If you're expecting like an old school Paper Mario game, like Paper Mario 64, Thousand Year Door, like, you're not going to find it there, probably.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's got to the point now where you've had Stick Star and you had Color Splash, and now you have this, right? And even before that, didn't you have like Super Paper Mario and stuff like that? There's been a load of these games, right?
I mean, Super Paper Mario was like a turning point in the series, but it still had like story as the main focus. Even though it wasn't like a turn-based RPG, it was more of like a 2D exploration game more than anything.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think it's been that long now, and we've had so many iterations of Paper Mario that I feel like I just don't think they're going back. I feel like this is Paper Mario now. And it's just one of those things where everyone's always gonna I feel it, because there's always fans of the genre and games, right? But it's like some point you have to just learn to let go. It's obviously not coming back like the way you
Right.
want it to come back. And I feel like Paper Mario fans are still there, where it's like maybe this time. Where it's like no, the previous
It'll be-
3 games say otherwise.
Yeah.
You see, you're just gonna have to wait for Paper Mario to pull a Resident Evil and remake the ones that people liked.
Oh, that'd be nice.
It would be nice. I'd like to have those readily available on my Switch rather than having to go like hunt down an N64 to play the one on, and then a Wii or GameCube to play 1000 Year Door on.
If you have a Wii, I don't know if you have a Wii U, but Paper Mario 64 is available on Virtual Console.
Well, that's nice.
But
I don't
no.
have
But
Wii
also
U.
Wii U.
But also the Wii U.
I'm no longer in possession of one of those.
Lucky you.
Sorry to hear that.
Oh, it's okay.
No, I don't know. I kind of feel like Intelligent Systems doesn't really need to try with Paper Mario anymore since they have Fire Emblem to fall back on now.
Oh, jeez.
Which is crazy to me that they're the same
It's
developer.
the same
right?
studio?
It's the same studio, yep.
Huh.
Yeah.
Who would have guessed it?
Weird.
Who would have guessed? So, Kyle, where would you think that this game's going to end up? Fan-wise, I think we already know where it's going, right?
Fan-wise,
But
it's going in the bin.
Where do you think, I think more interesting than the movie, where do you think critically this will end?
Critically,
Yeah.
I mean, we don't really know anything about it story-wise, but
Mhm.
certainly from like a gameplay point of view, it's probably going to be like mid-tier.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I think
What
the
would you
whole,
say?
the whole
Yeah.
game just looks very mid. It looks very kind of undercooked.
Yeah, and
If
I
that
kind of
makes
feel
sense.
bad. Yeah, it makes sense, and I feel bad for like Nintendo fans at the moment because
So do I.
this is the only game that we have as Nintendo fans for a long time, and this is what they're kind of leaving us with
That's
until we
the
get
only
that
thing
inevitable
they've had
direct.
for a
Yeah,
long time too, especially if
Yeah,
you didn't
unless-
care about Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
if you've not been a fan of Animal Crossing, this year has literally been the worst year to be a Nintendo fan right now because there's literally
You've got
there's nothing.
Xenoblade and you've got Paper Mario, and it's looking pretty barren after that.
Two little niches, dude. Two little niches. Like, as much as I like Xenoblade, right, and Paper Mario, that will have has its loud fans. They're both niche games. They're both niche markets, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's interesting that I feel like Nintendo was just like, okay, then we'll do Animal Crossing. They're like, okay, and what's after that? And they're like, shit, we forgot everything else. Like, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I'm sure this is probably where Metroid would have come in originally. Metroid Prime probably was supposed to be this year before it
Yeah.
got reset, and Bayonetta probably as well. And they were like, oh, those games have gone into development hell, so guess we'll sit on Paper Mario. Oh well. Oh well, I'm sure there'll be something at the end of the year, and
Yeah.
we'll be here to cover it. Don't you worry. So
We'll
next,
have
I've got,
Unless we don't want to.
For
unless
later
it's
this
even
year.
more Paper Mario. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully. Let's talk. I'm gonna get these two out of the way because these are the two that I also talked to Kane and Jack about. So we'll have our discussion here, and then I'll pass it over to myself in the past to get Jack and
You'll pass it over
Kane's,
to
yeah.
yourself.
Future
Passed
self
it
is going
over.
to summon your past self.
Yeah, this is my other self, dude. Let's
This is
talk.
my true form.
Let's talk about
Ethan's becoming
Crash
too
Bandicoot.
powerful.
Let's talk about Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. What do you guys think of the brief glimpses that we've seen of Crash 4 so far?
It looks promising.
Yeah, the game as a whole looks pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really am looking forward to this game. As soon as I heard the rumors of it being Toys for Bob, my anticipation immediately went up.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
like, oh, it's not Vicarious Visions. Okay, this has potential because Reignited was really good. So I am really looking forward to this game. I don't know. It seems like they've taken the best of like every possible world and tried to make a true successor to the original trilogy. Like, just from the little glimpses of the script, it very much seems to be the Twinsanity style of dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many times have you beat this guy? 3. Really? Seems like
Thought it would be
more.
more. Yeah.
That was a good line. I liked
Yeah.
it.
Or just like Cortex's lines and stuff like that. It seems very like they've taken the comedic style of twins in the later games and then mixed it with the original gameplay. It very much looks like a successor to Crash 2 out of all of them, which I'm surprised about.
That's nice. And the
Which
more
we can
actual
all deal
platforming
with.
we can get, the better.
And I don't know. I'm just really hopeful for this game. Like, honestly, it's going to be one of the last PS4 games that I'll play on PS4, and I'm like, oh, please be good. Please be a good Crash game. We've waited so long for a new Crash game. That's good. So hopefully, we'll get it. Does anyone have anything else to add about Crash?
I do like that they did show off multiple different characters being able to get used, and also that Cortex was in that mix too.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Of playable characters,
and apparently there's more to come, which will be interesting.
Oh man,
kind of feels like they're taking the Twinsanity route in a way, but not saying that as like a bad thing. Twinsanity's characters were fun.
Yeah,
I don't know. It seems like a good game. It seems like they've taken the idea of the original Crash 4, which was T-Walk, and gone, okay, if we're going to do this again, how can we make this a good game? Yeah, like how, like.
The introduction
they
of
did
all
the
new
4
masks.
elemental masks. Yeah, and they're like, okay, but what if the masks actually impacted gameplay? Which is what it should have been. The whole premise of T-Walk should have been, there's these masks, and these masks affect gameplay. That's what they should have gone with, instead of, just fight 4 boss fights with these 4 masks, then fight Cortex again.
Yeah.
Which...
Yeah. It would have been
I'm
cool in
hoping
T-Walk if you could get like an elemental power-up for beating that boss.
That would have been neat, rather than, let's sneak across some nitros.
That you use like twice ever.
At least the animation was funny.
Yeah, at least it was.
But man, the move was useless.
Yeah, it was.
Extremely useless. But there you go. There are our thoughts on Crash 4. I'm now going to pass it back to my former self and see what Jack and Kane think about it. This is going to be interesting. I'm going to have to cut it like 3 or 4 times. This will be interesting. But there you go. Let's go to them right now. Okay, so I'm here with Kane and Jack. Hey guys, how's it going?
Going well, how are you?
I'm good. It's interesting. We're recording this segment before the actual podcast, so I can't wait to see how I fit this in. But I'm here with Kane and Jack because you two have a couple of games that you're interested in that's coming up. But I also feel bad for making you sit through like an hour podcast just to talk for 5 minutes. So I thought I'd get you here and then I'll insert it later. So we're going to quickly talk about both Crash 4. And then I'll talk to Kane as well about the new Spider-Man game that's coming out later this year. So, go on, guys. What are your initial impressions of Crash 4? I'll let you start, Jack. You go ahead, because you have a lot to talk about this game. So go ahead.
I really liked what they've done with the game's overall art style so far. I know a lot of people were a bit, sus when it came to like some designs, such as Cortex. But I think once you give it a minute or two, it kind of starts to settle in. You start to realize it all kind of comes together. And I think, Toys for Bob were even saying during development of the game that they kind of wanted to go back to the Naughty Dog style of how they were designing Crash, which was based off of Looney Tunes. So it's kind of interesting how they're going to merge all that together, especially with like the voice acting that we're getting, the cutscenes, the kind of humor that it's going to take on. So story-wise, I'm interested a lot to see what they're going to do when they're going to be approaching a whole new Crash game, but trying to make it like a part of the original trilogy as well and adding on to it. On top of that, I'm looking forward to a lot of the gameplay stuff that they've added, such as the masks. I've not seen a lot of it, but I'm sure it'll be really interesting, especially like the anti-gravity stuff and the whole stopping time and slowing down time, seeing how that all works with the platforming, Crash's moveset and Coco's moveset. And then we've also got the Cortex levels, which I'm personally looking really forward to, but my only concerns with the Cortex levels are that I just hope it doesn't like slow the gameplay down like a lot, like the pace of it. But I kind of trust Toys for Bob with this because they've already said that Crash is like levels are meant to be designed to just flow. So I kind of trust them to do well with this whole Cortex thing that they're doing just now.
And they've said there's more to come as well. They said there was more characters and everything. So
they hinted possibly Spyro as a playable character, I think.
They've hinted that Spyro's in the game, whether he's playable or not. That'll be an interesting.
That'd
be very
if
interesting.
he's playable. Yeah, I don't know. I'm optimistic there, but I don't know. It's
like what do you think?
It looks like they looked at the Crash series. They're like, all right, we got Crash 3, and we got everything else. We don't really want to deal with everything else, but we still have to acknowledge its existence.
So like plot wise, I think it's good for them to kind of go back to just 3 and like we're branching here, but at the same time, it looks like they've looked at T-Walk, they've looked at Twinsanity, and they've looked at all the games and just been like, all right, let's try and just take inspiration from everything and make an actually good Crash game.
Yeah, I mean that's what it looks like from the outside. They've said that they're counting the reboot as like a new universe, but that other universe is still there. It's like a multiverse kind of thing that they're doing. They said they're going to hint towards it, and there'll be like characters popping up there from the old games in this new one. So I think it's interesting how they're going to do it and see how it comes down. In terms of your hopes for this game, what are the main things that you really want to see them like nail in terms of Crash 4?
And like the physics is clean. That was like the biggest issue with NST, is that like you just fall off everything when you're halfway off the ledge. It just
Even the
vacuums
boxes,
into a
you
hole.
could just fall off boxes.
So if they make the engine where it's a clean, good, comfortable platformer, then I think that's the biggest thing. And obviously, Toys for Bob did Spyro. I think Spyro, at least Spyro 1 and 2, had a little bit better execution.
I mean, same with Spyro 3. It was just a bit rushed near the end.
Well, they didn't make 3, though.
Yeah. That was, God, who was it? It was Sanzaro. Yeah. Sanzaro made 3. But even still, I do think Reignited was a better package than...
Yeah, I think they've had more time on this one. It's only one game. So, yeah, the card, everything's in their favor for making a good game. So,
I just hope we don't get like completely bombarded with vehicles again. But I'm pretty certain they're going to try and avoid doing that.
Well, the more characters, I think that gives you more opportunity for different platforming. Which I think that's the biggest issue. Is like, Crash 1's almost all platforming, but like when you get to Crash 2 and 3, the amount of platforming drops. More with each one. It's like, well, how much platforming can you make that's just the same thing but different? And so with the different characters, I would expect that there's a lot more opportunity for unique experiences. With
and the masks are definitely going to help out with that as well.
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing. I think whereas 2 added more variety, but it kind of had the balance right, and then 3 kind of went a bit more. I think what they're trying to do is just expand what a Crash level is. Like I think you've seen from like the early gameplay how the levels just seem to be larger and bigger and have multiple depths to it. So you go along the top and then you come back around the bottom, and it just seems like they're trying to expand on it more instead of just going more vehicles.
Yeah, it still keeps that like 2D-ish kind of structure, but it expands it out into a more modern 3D environment.
It's a bit open like T-Walk, I think, but maybe just a little bit more on teetering on the edge of like Twinsanity's kind of open world exploration, but it's still going to be linear in some way.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see that comes out in October. How do you think it's going to do? Do you think they're going to nail it?
I think
if you'd have to predict right now, what do you think?
Because I mean, if it's bad, it's bad. But I want it to be good. So,
judging by how well like even NST went, like I know a lot of us aren't huge on it as a speed game or anything, but as a casual game, I think we can all agree it's a good game. It has its benefits and it has its flaws, but as a game, it sold really well. It was advertised really well, and I think this game's going to kind of nail the same kind of thing. I think the advertising's been done really well. The whole it's about time kind of stuff.
I think they nailed the name of it. Mm-hmm. I think that was. I feel like everything was
underlined.
Yeah, I think we're not going to talk about that one. But I think in terms
DLC time or something else, but
yeah. But I feel like I think they're nailing the vibe that they're trying to go for. It very much looks like Spyro Reignited. The art styles are kind of merging a bit, which I kind of like, which I can see why they might have tried to put Spyro in this game if the art styles are merging. So it's probably a lot easier for them to do it. But yeah, we'll have to see. I'm hoping, strong hopes that that's a good game, because we've needed a good Crash game for a while now. So, Crash platformer. CTR is great. It's about time that we... Thank you, Kane. And we're back. Woohoo.
Wow, those were some really cool thoughts. Thanks, Kane
and
Jack, for your wonderful opinions.
Yeah, I should have probably written down the timestamp there that when I'm supposed to be cutting, because that would have been helpful. It was like 17 minutes, right? Something like that.
17-ish, yeah.
Like 16:55 or something.
Don't mind us. We're just
one of
terrible
us was paying
podcasting.
attention to that.
So then I also want to talk about Spider-Man Miles Morales. I just want to throw it out and say I think this game looks great, and the more I think about it, the more I'm like, that's the perfect launch title for the PS5. Like, I don't think they could have planned it any better. I feel like Spider-Man was a really good idea because we've all been saying for a while, oh, it's going to be Horizon probably, but it isn't. And I don't know. I'm really looking forward to it because I love Miles Morales as a character. Do you guys have anything to add to Spidey talk?
I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if I'm going to play it right at launch because I don't know if I'm getting a PS5 right at launch yet. But if I do get a PS5, that'll be one of the first things I pick up, more than likely. And the idea of just seeing what kind of toys Miles has to play with as opposed to Peter is fascinating. So that'll be cool.
I really love Miles as a character, and I think this is why this game's hitting with me so much.
Yeah.
It's just because Miles is such a great character, and it wasn't really until Spider-Verse that people kind of became aware of his existence. I'd already known about it before because I'm not really a comics guy, but Spider-Man I've always been like a fucking massive nerd about, right? So Miles to me has always been this character. I'm like, oh, I wish they'd do more with Miles. And then we got Spider-Verse, and like that's cool. And then he was in Spider-Man 2018. I'm like, this is cool. And now he's getting his own game. I'm like, hell yeah! Now we're talking.
Yeah,
but no, I'm really looking forward to this game.
Yeah, Miles was never really on my radar until Into the Spider-Verse came out, and I really, really loved him in that movie. He was such a fun character. Like, so I didn't play Spider-Man PS4, but I'm really looking forward to this. Seeing how this pans out.
It's good.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see how Insomniac handles it. And yeah, Insomniac's really showing their worth to Sony right now after the purchase, the buyout. They're like, okay, we'll give you Spider-Man and Ratchet and Clank within hopefully the first year of launch. Yeah. So hopefully, it'll be fun. So now let's throw it back again in time. Wow, we're going transporting all the time. This is the last time, I swear. I promise you. We'll go talk to Kane and Jack about Spider-Man and also another game I think he mentions as well. So yeah, back to me in the past. So the other game I wanted to talk to you about while you were here, Kane, is Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Yeah.
Which is a PS5 launch exclusive, I guess. It's a launch game, we assume, but it's close to launch, holiday 2020. So I just wanted to ask you, what are your overall thoughts? What are you hoping for, and what are your wishes for Spider-Man Miles Morales?
We already know it's a spin-off game, so it's not really like a main series Spider-Man game. So we can expect, the same engine. It's just going to be Miles instead of Spider-Man, and we'll get a new plot. So in terms of the engine, I was already happy with the overall way that Spider-Man works. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and it's kind of what I expect here. I'm hoping. So the biggest annoying thing to me in the original Spider-Man was for the DLC they had these time trials and whatnot. The what's her name?
The screwball challenges.
The screwball challenges. Those they had good challenges in the original game, but there wasn't like a timer in them. So all they needed to do was a timer, and you could have like legitimately good challenges. But the screwball challenges, the way they changed it up was they had these stupid Photoshop things that you had to hit to get bonus points. I don't remember the exact name, and it turned them into auto scrollers. And I think there's a comment on one of my YouTube videos that perfectly sums up the screwball challenges. And that comment was, I did better than you, but you got a higher score. And that's exactly how it works, where you have to play poorly in order to not kill the enemies fast enough so that they're still around for the screwball photo snap things or whatever, in order to get all the bonus points. And so it's kind of not important, but at the same time, it was really annoying to me because it's the challenges in the main game were really fun, and then they just screwed them up with these screwball elements they twisted in. But overall, I mean, the plot, there's obviously lots of opportunity for story there. The gameplay overall, they're not going to touch it. I was pretty happy with it. And
well, yeah, my it's going to be it's very much going to be enhanced, right? It's going to feel like Spidey, but with obviously Miles's power, move set with his invisibility and his electricity and all that kind of fun stuff that you get to use. my main hope is with the gameplay side is because they're still using the same engine, is just variety and side content. That's just my one hope is
that was one
make
thing.
the side content better.
There wasn't much to do other than like the challenges. Those were fun. But like, I don't know, it kind of, compared to say Spider-Man 2 on the GameCube / PS2 or Xbox, it had that same issue where like they just had like the randomly spawning crime that you could always do, and it was annoying, especially the ones where you have to rescue people off boats. Because water's terrible in Spider-Man. But in this one, they had even less to do. Where that one, they just had like these random tokens that they threw all over New York, and it took like hours and hours of just like walking around New York to find them. While in this one, they had like the backpacks and the other things, and that was nice. Something that you can just collect and explore along the way. But there definitely seemed like less to do outside of just generic boring crime and story.
Yeah, that's my main hope is hopefully if they are doing side content for this game, which I assume that will be some of it, that they do try and spice the variety up in a sense because they don't have to spend as much time working on the engine and stuff like that.
For sure.
So yeah, that's my main hope. But there you go. Finally, before we wrap up this little segment, Kane, you've been playing this puzzle game that I thought, let's get your opinions on it while you're here, because we'll never know when you'll see you again, because we've got like Ghost of Tsushima coming up, so go ahead.
Review copy of a game called Limiter! ! Which is a Steam indie puzzle game. And it ended up being a really fun game. Like the dev just hit me up and it's like, yo, can you play my game? And I was like, all right, let's check it out. And sometimes I've been hit up by devs before, and like I look at the video and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not responding to that. Then other times it's like, all right, I'll try it out. But this one ended up being like a really cool game. It was just like super chill music, and as far as puzzle games, like it's the mechanics are simple and it's the puzzles that are complex, and I think that's kind of a good combination for a puzzle game. So
okay, so there you go. Kane's recommendation: go check out. Why is it
Limiter!
With an exclamation mark? Limiter! Steam. Review copy provided. FTC, please leave us alone. And on that note, I guess that's it for this little segment. Thank you, Jack and Kane, for hanging out with me, because I did want to get your opinions on this.
You are welcome.
Without you having to waste your time listening to me ramble about Bugsnax. You can find these guys at Kane of Parky on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, and then at Jacoby and everywhere else. What's your Twitter, Jack?
At Jacoby1996.
There you go. So go check those guys out. Thank you for joining me for this quick segment. And now back to me with whatever's next on this really bizarrely functioning podcast.
Nonsense.
There we go. Back to you, Ethan. And we're back again. Hello.
That one was 1945, by the way.
Oh, thank you. You're so good. People are going to be like, that doesn't equal the actual right timestamp. I'm like, don't worry about it. Just editing things, Just editing things. You ignore them.
You just smile and listen to the podcast.
Yeah. You just keep listening to the podcast
also,
as I write down
subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, bit.ly/thegiggers. Thank you. There we go. So those two. I'm glad we got those out of the way, because now I can no longer panic about having to edit stuff in.
Yeah.
Are there any games? I've got a load of games here, but are there any games that you guys are actually excited about that you want to talk about first before I just bring on the slew of literally fucking everything?
All right. Well,
I have a couple games that haven't been brought up, but
I'll let you go first, Kyle.
Yeah, go on, Kyle. You go first.
Oh, this is something Hunter and I can probably both talk about. No More Heroes 3.
Oh, I really hope that comes out this year.
Yeah. I have it on here as like a question mark. But
yeah, like it was supposed to come out this year, but with each passing day, that begins to look less and less likely.
Yeah. And it's another game that we don't really know anything about, really.
Nah, like the one trailer was rather vague, and they had another one at the Game Awards, but I don't remember what was in it.
Oh, it was just as fucking vague.
Yeah. So we don't know what's going on, but I have faith that it will be good.
I mean, yeah, No More Heroes has always been solid.
Yeah.
There actually was like a quote-unquote gameplay trailer that came out like a couple weeks back.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
But fucking Suda51 just put his whole head in front of like where Travis in the gameplay would be.
Oh, the massive troll. I love that guy.
So you can't even tell what's going on.
All right. Well, that's funny.
So there's at least gameplay somewhere out there.
somewhere in the
somewhere
ether.
out there.
I'll be sure to send it you later, Hunter.
All right,
But-
over the rainbow.
Yeah.
But when this game comes out, it'll fill a nice little niche for the. It's been a while since Devil May Cry 5 has come out at this point, and I think we still got a ways to go till Bayonetta, so this will fill the hack and slash itch for a little bit.
Like No More Heroes has never been like a super complex hacky slashy, but it's still
fun. It still works. It made one of the best really uses of the motion controls on the Wii.
Oh,
in my opinion. Yeah.
No More Heroes 2, really great soundtrack also.
Oh, yes.
Both games, honestly, great music.
Fantastic.
Did not play Travis Strikes Back, though.
I have not played that one either.
Maybe someday. We'll get to that.
Yeah. Let's do it soon so we can do a podcast about it.
I'm just being quite excited.
Anticipation cast.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm not into No More Heroes, so this is just
you
over
should.
my head.
It's fun.
I'm not a massive hack and slash guy, you know that.
Yeah, but you're a total weeb now, and that's what Travis is.
That is rude, and I find that offensive. Thank you.
He's also got a cool jacket and sunglasses.
Oh,
his jacket is really slick.
Yeah, it is cool. He has a katana-shaped lightsaber.
Honestly, Ethan, what's not cool about this guy?
I don't know.
He's got a motorcycle that turns into a robot.
Of course he does. It's all just noise to me. Everything you're saying is just noise to me, and I'm like, yeah, cool. It's like I feel like I'm the old person with the kids like playing with their toy, and I'm like, I don't get this at all. I'm just gonna smile and go, oh, that's nice, dear. Hope you're having fun.
All right,
Hunter, what do you got?
Go on, Hunter. What have you got?
All right, so Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning is getting a remake, remaster. And you see, I played the original PS3 game for an afternoon one time, and I don't remember the context in which I obtained possession of this only for that day, but I really enjoyed what I played of it. So I'm looking forward to playing this and seeing the whole game. Because it had the cool kind of like character, the nice little RPG. You got the talent trees and stuff, but you can mix and match them in whatever way. I might be making this up. It's been a while. But from what I remember, there were like 3 different trees, and you could like put points into each of them, and there were several different builds that you could obtain through it that way. And it was cool because it was way more action oriented than a lot of RPGs at the time. Like Dragon Age Origins was just kind of push auto attack and do your skills. This one's more like actually do things. So that's interesting. Also, it seems like they're putting in additional like an expansion. Well, not an expansion. I don't know, more content to come later with the game, which is fascinating since that game came out in 2012. But I'm not going to argue with it.
Yeah.
There's just like one group of 5 people really dedicated to this game.
Yeah, honestly, but I'm cool with it. I'm interested in it, and I want to. And there's also nothing else that I care about coming out in September, so that's a great time for a big old RPG.
You're telling me that Marvel's Avengers does not interest you, Hunter?
No, they haven't sold me on it yet, to be honest.
Why aren't you... Go on, why aren't you sold on Marvel's Avengers?
Well, I don't know. The gameplay looks kind of repetitive, and I also don't care about the whole games as a service aspect of it. Mm-hmm. So, unless it comes out and people are saying that the story is like to die for, I don't know if I'm going to care that much about it.
I'm the exact same way.
Yeah.
This game has just been nothing but forgettable for me. I remember going into E3 2019 and going, oh, I don't really care about Final Fantasy VII Remake at all, but I can't wait to see the Avengers game. And I came out of it going, oh, Final Fantasy VII looks incredible, but that Avengers game looks a bit shit.
Yeah.
That's how I get it. It was like the most mediocre experience I've ever watched of a video game. It's like everyone just looks like they're like the stunt doubles of the MCU versions of the characters.
Yeah.
Like I love the people that are a part of this game. Like you have Troy Baker, Nolan North,
the
as
cast
well as
is
the people
like
in it.
all-star,
The cast is great. But there's just something about it that just doesn't feel right. And the more I see, the more I'm like, I'm still not feeling it.
Yeah.
and the fact there's this multiplayer mode tied to it, I'm like, just nothing about this game spells this is going to be good to me at all. And I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out and it's an absolute train wreck. But at the same time, I'll be positively surprised if people say, nah, this is incredible, you really need to play it, because I'd love a great Avengers game. I just don't see it happening.
See, I don't think it's going to be a train wreck, but I don't think it's going to be, like, phenomenal either. It'll probably just be, like, I don't know, somewhere in the middle. Yeah.
The most excitement I had for this game was a tweet that came out after the first trailer was shown at E3, and it said, until we see gameplay, I'm going to assume Avengers plays like Shrek 2 for the PlayStation 2, where basically you had control of 4 characters, and you could switch between them at will. And I'm like, that'd be pretty freaking fun.
That is how it works. You do have in missions you go in like with like 3 or so Avengers, I think, and switch around if I'm right.
See, I kind of thought it was
different parts of the level of different characters.
From what I could tell from gameplay, I thought it was like you kind of got forced into playing as other Avengers when you were done with one of their missions.
I think that's what it is, but I think it's like, you take like these 3 Avengers in and you can swap as you're playing it. And then you do say specific sections with specific characters. I don't know how it works. I've not really been paying that much attention.
Yeah,
because
me
after
either.
that trailer, I'm like, I'm completely out of this game.
Same.
So who knows?
But no,
it's Crystal. It's Crystal Dynamics. They make some good games.
Yeah, they made the Tomb Raider games.
They made the 2 good Tomb Raider reboot games, which is nice. And like, I hope that it's good. I'd like it for it to be good. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not sold on it.
Yeah, it just looks really average.
It does. It looks extremely average. Other game coming out in September, I believe, is Tony Hawk. I'm just going to quickly bring up Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Is anyone a fan here of Tony Hawk?
Never played it.
I liked Underground. That's the one I spent a lot of time with as a kid. And, Tony Hawk could be a fun thing to sink a weekend into if I play it.
My thing with Tony Hawk is just like, it's like the one franchise that I'm like, oh yeah, I had friends that played it and I've seen it. I've just never played it. And I've never cared about it. And everyone else has this massive nostalgia for it. I'm like, that's really cool and I'm happy for you, but I just don't get it. I just don't. And it's vicarious, so I'm hoping it's done well.
They do like
it's only 2 games this time. So I'm sure Vicarious will do a good job. But it's interesting, to see that Tony Hawk's kind of getting a bit of a resurgence again, especially after how garbage Pro Skater 5 was.
Oh, yeah.
I'm surprised that they have allowed Activision to touch this IP again. But yeah, we'll see. I just wanted to quickly mention it because I'm sure there'll be like 2 Tony Hawk's fans that are like, oh, you didn't mention Tony Hawk's. So there you go. Kyle, do you have another game that you want to talk about?
I put it on my list as a joke, but Bugsnax.
Oh, I was going to bring it up anyway.
I know. I was making this list when you were like hyper fixed on that game.
Kind of bug and kind of snack, dude.
You want to talk about it?
You want to sing to the audience for 30 minutes?
No, I don't. Fortunately, I've kind of forgotten the song, and I feel like if I listen to it again, it'll be stuck in my head for another week, so I'm good.
Okay.
But no, Bugsnax is such an interesting game because I have no idea what it is, but I'm going to play it. Like, that's honestly, like... I think it's more of the interest around it.
Syndrome.
Like, me and Kane have a rolling theory that we both believe that Bugsnax is a horror game. And a lot of people on the internet also believe this, that Bugsnax is just going to become a horror game when it goes to nighttime. And I'm so interested to see what this game actually is, because the trailer's so stupid and wacky, and then it kind of has that dark spin on it at the end. And I'm like, I just want to know what this game is, because it's from the Octodad guys, and I really like Octodad, Dadliest Catch. It's a good game, so and they've been working on it for like 6 years. So yeah, I'm excited for Bugsnax. Everyone else should be too. It should be the first game you play on PS5. Thank you.
Yeah, not Spider-Man. Bugsnax,
not Spider-Man. Sure. Bugsnax. Spider-Man will have the commercial success. Bugsnax will have the critical success. Hold me to it.
Bugsnax.
Don't.
It's also coming out on PS4, right?
Yeah, it's cross-platform.
Yeah, so there you go.
So everyone can enjoy it.
Unless
even you,
don't
viewer.
have a PS4.
Even you.
then you can get it on Epic Games. If you have an Xbox, tough luck. No
it'll
Bugsnax
probably
for
get ported
you.
to Switch at some point.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. It's a console launch exclusive, so we'll see. We'll see. But no, I am excited for Bugsnax. It's a very weird game.
Yeah.
And it kind of took the internet by storm. So I'm interested to see what it
And it's got a really
is.
catchy theme song written by Kira Bonito. So
yeah.
Can't argue
and why
with
not?
that.
Why not? Hunter.
All right, so the other game that I'm looking forward to later this year, oh man, this is just a little indie game called Cris Tales, or I don't know, some other pronunciation. Basically, CRIS.
Cris Tales.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to look this up while you talk about it. Go ahead, Hunter.
Basically, the premise of this game is that you are kind of viewing the past, present, and future all at once, and it's like a turn-based RPG where you see what's going on in the past to know what you got to do in the present to influence the future in the way you want to make it happen. I pretty much just got sold to this by the announcement trailer from last year's it wasn't part of an E3 conference, but it was just part of the trailers that PlayStation was uploading during E3 week. It had a cool song in it that I had already listened to, like, in my free time. So I was like, ooh, this is cool, and this premise is neat. So I started following the game, and I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Steam page right now. It looks interesting.
Yeah.
I did not know this was a thing, so thank you, Hunter.
No problem.
As always, Hunter, providing you with the up-to-date gaming information.
Bringing out the obscure games.
But bringing out the indie games. Dude.
Yeah. I'm here to serve.
Do you have any other games on your list, Kyle?
Nope.
So? And it said Chris then, because I've got Cris Tales stuck in my head. You don't have any left, Kyle?
No.
Wow.
I had 6 games on my list. 4 of them we all talked about. One of them was fucking Bugsnax.
A true game of the generation. At the end of a generation. Or the start. You take your pick. I've got a load of games still to talk about. So let's talk about...
special.
Yeah, dude. Aren't I special? Exactly. Let's talk about the big boy on the block. Cyberpunk 2077 is... apparently coming out this year still. Now in November, they keep pushing it further and further back, and I'm like, there's only so far you can push this back, CD Projekt, before it's just a next gen game. So
yeah,
I don't know. I've always been really interested in Cyberpunk since the reveal, and I'm not a Witcher person. I haven't even played The Witcher 3, and Cyberpunk's just always interested me more. I'm still super excited for this game. I can't wait to play it. I will probably play it on PS5 at this point because it comes out at like the exact same time. So, but I don't know. It's just CD Projekt is a really good developer, and I'm really hoping that this is a great game because I've been waiting for it for so long. At this point, I'm just like, oh, please be good. I don't know. We'll see, but I'm super interested in Cyberpunk anyway. Anyone got anything to add?
I don't know. Cyberpunk is one of those games that I hear a lot of chatter about, but I haven't really boarded the hype train myself. I guess it'll just kind of depend on when it actually comes out. I mean, if it comes out in November, I'll have my hands full with Cris Tales here. But if it gets pushed again, who knows? But I don't know. If Keanu Reeves wasn't able to sell me fully on this game, I don't know what can, short of playing it myself. So I don't know.
See, I was already sold before Keanu Reeves was in it, and now I'm like, oh, now I'm super sold. Just having the idea of a hologram version of Keanu Reeves try to manipulate you in your mind, dude, that just sounds like such a stupid idea, but I can't wait
It sounds
to
great,
see it happen.
But I don't know.
We'll see. I think it will come out this year. I still have hope that it will. I think this last delay is the last one. I feel like it will come out this year. I don't think they'll push it anymore, but we'll see. We shall see. I've got a couple of other games. Hunter, are you done with games as well now?
I believe so. I'm looking through here and I'm not seeing anything that, aside from like all the things that are supposed to be like launch window PS5 stuff.
I mean, well, oh yeah, not sure if it's holiday or not. So I've got a couple of other ones that we can talk about, some big, some small. So let's start off with some smaller ones, I guess. One that I'm surprised none of you mentioned. Here's a question: do you think this game comes out this year? Yes or no? Bravely Default 2. Do you think that comes out this year?
I have no idea.
I completely forgot about
Bravely
that.
Default, so I haven't really been following the second one.
Yeah, same.
All I remember is hearing that people really didn't like the demo that came out. That's all I remember is people play the demo and they're like, I don't know if I like this.
Yikes.
So, who knows? That's supposed to be coming out this year, but I don't have much faith in it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Could have just made a second Octopath.
Yeah.
But
I still think it's too early for. I still think it's still too early for a new Octopath. I think it's going to happen. I just think you gotta give
to
that
be
some
fair,
time.
I think maybe it should have a little more time to simmer.
Yeah.
But, I'd like to at least know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, God, I've still got quite a few games here. Let's
I just remember seeing the Bravely Default 2 artwork and thinking it really looked a lot like Octopath. But it is the same.
I remember a lot of people thought it was Octopath first. I remember a lot of people during the reveal trailer like, Octopath, no!
I mean, yeah, the character they showed off looked just like Ophelia, so...
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It's
just my
another
brain.
smaller game / indie game that I don't think we mentioned is Kena Bridge of Spirits, or Kena.
There we go. That one looked fascinating.
It was a game that was announced during the PS5 reveal event. It's scheduled for holiday, I believe. Quote me on that one. But no, this game just looked really great. It was like Breath of the Wild kind of aesthetic to it, and I really liked the look of it.
Yeah, it looks like a fun little cozy 3D platforming type of adventure. And that's one that's got my fascination. Probably pick that up after Spider-Man if I get a PS5 right away.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be interesting because, again, it's just one of those things where we've only seen a tiny bit of it and we don't really know what the deal is with it, but hey, it's coming, and I guess we'll see soon enough. We've got some big games here, all of them that I know you guys won't be that massive about. So let's start with this little Joker game that I'm going to be more excited about than most of the people who are even a fan of this franchise. Let me just write it down. Kingdom Hearts, Melody of whatever, Memory.
Wait, this qualifies as a big game?
Pardon?
You heard me.
Well, it's Kingdom Hearts, dude. It's Kingdom Hearts, dude.
Yeah, but,
It'll sell more than most rhythm games ever should. Like, genuinely. You'll be surprised how many people pick this up just because it's Kingdom Hearts. But no. My big question is, Kingdom Hearts, how important... This is my question for you on this one. How important do you think this game will be for the future of the franchise, knowing the more? That's my question.
The answer is very, because...
Probably more than I would give it credit for, but less than it should.
The abbreviation is Kingdom Hearts MOM, and any Kingdom Hearts fan knows that MOM stands for the Master of Masters.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's how important this video game is. The final boss is just going to be Demix busting out on his sitar, being like, I was the Master of Masters the whole time.
Is that your prediction, Kyle? Is that your prediction?
Through the fire and flames at you.
Through the water and flames.
Yeah.
Is that your prediction, Kyle?
Why
Is that your prediction?
Not? I could predict
MOM
anything.
is Demix. Yeah,
Nothing
okay,
matters.
Cool. That'd be
For
fun.
that Kingdom Hearts story I'm very involved in.
Hey, I love
and this
Kingdom
rhythm
Hearts
game
story.
I'm definitely
I
going to
love
pick up.
rhythm games.
I
love Kingdom Hearts bullshit. I'm not being sarcastic. I love Kingdom Hearts story and I love rhythm games. So I can't wait to play it. I'm really looking forward to it. And yeah, you're right. It's ever since I saw that the acronym was MOM, I'm like, this is going to be like the most important game in this series, isn't it? I'm like, it's going to be more story in this game than probably KH3. So I'll just laugh. I'm like, oh God, here we go. Genuinely. I just want to sit here and play Sanctuary. And it's like, no, you will watch 2 hours of cutscenes about the future of Kingdom Hearts. And I'll be like, ugh, God damn it. Oh well. Couple of other ones. I'm just going to very quickly mention it. Even though none of us will be playing it. Halo Infinite is supposed to come out this year. Did you know there's a Halo game coming out this year? It's called Halo Infinite.
Yeah,
Nope.
I keep hearing about it, and I still cannot bring myself to care.
My thing with Halo is I liked Halo 1, 2, and 3. The first 3 Halos are decent first person. I played them after they came out. Like I played them on 360, like way after they've come out. Like I played them in like 2012, right? So to me, they weren't the revolutionary, groundbreaking games that they were back in the day. Because I was just like, this is just a first-person shooter, but they're cool first-person shooters. And then Halo 4 was complete and utter garbage. That I was like, I don't care about this franchise, so I'm just going to walk away. And then Halo 5 came out, and it was apparently also garbage. Like,
Sorry,
seems to be the trend with it's all good, but it seems to be the trend with 343. So I'm like, Halo Infinite, everyone's trying to make it like, oh, this is it. This is going to be the good Halo. I'm like, is it? Is it really? Because 343 hasn't had the greatest track record. They've made 2 pretty mediocre Halo games. I'm sure that they can make a third one.
Yeah, like that's the thing is Halo seems like it's just lost its luster over the years, and yeah, people. I mean, Xbox fans seem to really want it to be good. As you know, if I was thoroughly invested in that console, I'm sure I would want it to be good. But as of right now, I don't care.
I mean, I want it to be good. A good Halo game would be great, but it's been so long. I'm just like, will it happen? I don't know. I feel like both Halo and Gears of War, which are like the 2 most prominent Xbox franchises, just need to kind of take a break. Similar to how God of War took a break. Because those games, they've just become so fatigued at this point that it's just like, oh, it's just another Gears of War game. Oh, it's just another Halo game.
Well,
I feel like
now I understood why they couldn't take a break, because that was the only 2 exclusive properties that they had. But now that they are acquiring more studios, maybe they could take a break on those.
Hopefully, we'll see how it goes. I've got 3 more games on my list, so I will bring up the one that I'm the least excited for first. So we'll get that out of the way. Assassin's Creed Valhalla's coming out this year, November 17th, I believe. Of the day of recording, they just did like a massive Ubi thing that we haven't covered because Ubisoft's been a right little twat recently. But that game just looks so mediocre. I don't know what it is about that Assassin's Creed game, but I saw gameplay of it today, and it just, even as someone that has literally shamefully, I feel like I should be praying and asking for forgiveness for saying that I've played every single fucking Assassin's Creed game. They're all on my shelf right here.
Nerd.
But even as someone that's played every... Thank you, Hunter. As someone that's played every Assassin's Creed game, I'm just not into it. It just doesn't look interesting. It just looks like, oh, it's more Assassin's Creed. And I'm just like, if anything, it looks worse than Odyssey, and I don't know how, because it's a next-gen game. I'm like, how? How have you done this? How have you made your game look worse? I just have no idea. It's a game I'm like, hopefully it's good, but I'm not holding out hope. Yeah. Also, the Assassins part of Assassin's Creed just seems to be dead at this point.
It seems to be.
Because there's nothing about Vikings at all that
there's nothing stealthy or assassination-like about Vikings. They're very in-your-face, burn your village to the ground. And they've got really long boats. But yeah, Assassin's Creed is losing its window of opportunity to get me back in. Ghost of Tsushima is going to come out and be the Assassin's Creed Japan game I always wanted.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be an example of too little, too late when that finally happens.
My problem with Assassin's Creed has been, up until now, especially with the last 2, Origins and Odyssey, is they've done this RPG light trash gameplay, which some people really like, and I'm like, why do you like this? Because it's just the grind of an RPG without the reward of actually it being an RPG. Like, there's no interest. It's like, oh, here's a million side quests, and you have a level system. I'm like, well, that's nice, but the level system prevents me from just doing the main story, and the side quests are all the same fetch quest / kill person quest. They're all generic and boring, and you have to do a load of them to level up and do the main story. It's just like, there's nothing interesting. There's no like character to the quests. There's no like, the leveling system isn't well thought out in the slightest. There's no reason to level up other than, oh, now you can go and do the quests. So it's like, I don't know. Assassin's Creed's been losing me these last couple, and this one I'm just like, maybe I just don't give a shit anymore. As someone who was already not giving a shit, I'm just like, oh, I'll play it because I've got nothing better to do. They have really lost me, but we'll see. We'll see how it does. I genuinely think that game, if I was to predict it now, it will do worse than this next game I'm going to bring up, which is also by Ubisoft. Watch Dogs Legion is coming out, finally. This is a game that's supposed to come out in March and is now coming out on October 29th. One thing that I want to throw out here, which I find is stupid, and I think Ubisoft's really fucking themselves here.
That's only like 3 weeks before.
Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed have 2.5 weeks between each other.
Oh, man. It's like that time, I think it was EA. They put out Titanfall 2 and Battlefield 1 within like a couple of weeks of each other.
And Battlefield came out first and completely outsold Titanfall to shit. To the point
Titanfall was sandwiched between Battlefield and Call of Duty because EA can competently market their games.
But my thing with Watch Dogs is, I've said this many a time, I hated the first Watch Dogs. It was an awful video game. And then I played the second one, and I really liked Watch Dogs 2. It's a really good game. They made a load of improvements on everything that I like. So I'm really looking forward to Watch Dogs Legion, surprisingly. They've made it an easy choice now, where I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll pick up Assassin's Creed, but now there's 2.5 weeks between them, I'm like, fuck that one off. I'll play Watch Dogs because it looks more interesting. This whole idea of play as anyone in the world and recruit them to DedSec is such an interesting idea of not having a main character and just being able to recruit everyone in the world sounds really cool. They showed some gameplay off as well today where it's like, oh, they're not just saying this isn't just promotional bullshit. You can actually do this kind of shit. And each kind of class has its own special kind of things. Like if you're an engineer, you can kind of have like this hovercraft like carrier thing that you can lift yourself up on. You can hack stuff. Everything that I wanted out of a Watch Dogs sequel seems to be this game, and I'm genuinely looking forward to it. Which I'm surprised because I thought I would not be into it of how they've been doing Assassin's Creed recently. But hey, I'm looking forward to Watch Dogs 3. We'll see. I'm just rushing through everything that I have to say because I know you two do not give a shit.
No, it's all right. Yeah, I don't much care for Watch Dogs, and this one hasn't really done anything to...
You're just talking about game franchises I've never played or looked at. So,
but no.
Yeah.
It will be interesting because obviously Assassin's Creed is the bigger IP, but it will be interesting to see what the sales are like between Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed. We'll see. There's a part of me that's like, I really hope Watch Dogs does well and Assassin's Creed doesn't, but you know, that's just because it's been I think it's been 4 or 5 years since we've had a Watch Dogs.
Yeah,
3 or 4 years since we've had a Watch Dogs game.
Or Watch Dogs 2 came out like towards the end of 2016.
16, yeah. So it's been like 4 years since we had a Watch Dogs, and we get an Assassin's Creed every year or two. So it's like, I'd really like Watch Dogs to do well because it seems that they're trying to really make that a franchise that's good. Whereas Assassin's Creed just seems to roll, and it just keeps going, and it never really tries to iterate that much.
Yeah.
But we'll see. The final game that I want to talk to you guys about, which is one that kind of came out of nowhere, which I wasn't really watching that much, which is still planned for holiday, is Deathloop. I thought I'd save this for last because I'm really looking forward to this game now that I've seen the premise of it. It's from the guys that made Dishonored and Dishonored 2. And it's about you being a time agent stuck in a time loop. So there you go. What were your thoughts of that from seeing that at the PlayStation event?
I thought it was a really cool idea. Like, Arcane Studios games, I haven't played them before, but they've always looked fascinating, and this might be the one to actually hook me in, because being an assassin who's being hunted by another assassin so that you have to, like, kill all your targets before they can get you is a really cool premise, and yeah, I am fascinated to see how it pans out.
Mm-hmm. I'm really interested to see how big this game is, actually, because it's like, oh, can you beat this in like an hour? Is it just like one massive map and it's just like a never-ending like paradox, like time loop? And just the idea of having
in a way if they do it like that.
Mm-hmm. And then there's the whole idea of you can turn it. You can either have the agent that's hunting you down. You can either have them be AI or you can have them be another person. So I just think it'd be really interesting to see it. I wonder how fun it is to actually go into the online in that game and just ruin people's days by assassinating them all the time. Like, I honestly think
it'd be a lot of fun. That sounds kind of like what Doom Eternal's multiplayer is.
I think it'd be really funny. I also, I don't know. I feel like it'd be interesting to see how that goes. Like, I don't know, can you just choose from the get-go, oh, I just want to be the assassin? Or at the same time, I feel like it would have been a really cool completion reward is if you when you finish Time Loop, then you get the ability to be the assassin to other people. Like, it'd be like a consistent like
cool.
feedback loop. Like, so it's like, oh, once you complete it, okay, now you can go and fuck with the people that were fucking you and stuff like that. It's like, oh, that'd be an interesting idea. But no, the whole idea of Deathloop and the art style and then the film noir style that they've just gone for, I'm like, I'm into this so much more, and I didn't even really remember it from E3 last year, but as soon as it came up on the PlayStation Showcase, I'm like, this is looking great. I have no complaints about Deathloop, and I will probably be buying that when it releases on PS5 because my god, that game just looks like a load of fun. But other than that, I think we've covered everything. Is anyone thinking of anything that we've missed, or are we good?
This game came out last year, but it's getting released to consoles this year. Disco Elysium is a role-playing game that got some clout last year. I think it even won a Game Award that I was fascinated with, but it wasn't. But it was only on PC, and I didn't want to play it that way. So I was like, I'll wait a little bit, see if it gets a console release, and lo and behold, that's supposed to happen this year.
Nice.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of good things about it, but it was that thing where I was like, it's on PC. And I've literally playing through P4 on PC right now. It's such a hassle to play games on PC, man. Like, honestly, I'm just like, I have to sit here, this monitor, and it's just like, I don't get it. But no, it's one of those games where I looked at it and I'm like, this looks cool, but I don't know if it was for me. It looked very much like a. I hate to use the word hardcore, right? But like a very much like if you're really into this kind of niche nitty gritty numbers RPG, then this is this is for you, dude. If you really like role playing and you really like getting specific numbers and stats and all that, like this is your kind of game. I'm like, I don't know if this is up my alley, but it sure looks good and it seems to have really excelled at what it wanted to do.
Yeah, it looks fascinating enough for me to give it a whirl once it gets released to a platform that I would find acceptable.
That's one way of putting it.
I guess I should have said preferable.
Nah, you said it, dude. You said it. Have all the PC fanboys after you now. You're done. But no, I think that's everything. I think we covered everything that's coming out this year. We probably missed a load of stuff, and if we did, why don't you let us know in the comments so we can do nothing about it because the podcast's done. We'll cover them in a later episode, probably, I swear. But no, that's been our show. Thanks ever so much for listening. Hunter, where can people find you?
YouTube.com/ReaperHunter23.
Nice. And Kyle, where can people find you?
You can find me on twitch.tv/KDavisSRL and also over on Twitter @KDavisSRL.
Very cool. And you can find me, as always, at Chaotic Ether on both Twitch and Twitter. So there you go. And you can find me there. Or youtube.com/WaterJames if you want to go and subscribe to my channel that I hardly use.
New videos
I'd really appreciate it. Videos every week. But that's been our show. This has been Hot Gamers, only the show where we talk to you about everything that's hot in the world of games. We'll be back next Monday at 5 p.m. UK time, 12 Eastern, for our Ghost of Tsushima first impressions. It's finally time to be a samurai. Woo! We've waited so long for this moment, and someone other than Assassin's Creed is letting us do it. Thank you.
Yes.
I mean, we could have played Sekiro, but
or
you know.
Neo.
Or Neo. I'm not a Dark Souls guy. I'm sure we'll have a podcast about this one day, but I'm not a Dark Souls guy. So I also have the furthest I've gotten a Dark Souls game was I played Bloodborne for about an hour and then died, and I went back to a checkpoint. I'm like, I can't do this. My brain's just going to explode. So, you know, I can't. We'll talk about it sometime later in the future in another episode. But yeah, we'll be back next week for Ghost of Tsushima. You can find us on podcast services everywhere and on YouTube at bit.ly/thegiggers or bit.ly/thegiggers, whatever. You know how to get there. We're also on SoundCloud, and you can. I don't know why I said that as if it was a question. But I'm losing it, man. I'm losing it. But we're also on SoundCloud. You can find us on Twitter at @TheGiggersYT to stay up to date with news and information regarding HGO and everything else under the Giggers banner, I guess. I think that's the term, banner. I don't know. I'm just speaking out my ass at this point. Umbrella. There you go. Banner, umbrella. They're the same. I feel like you can use both. Correct me. If you made it this far, you can correct me now.
Ethan, I think you need to take a week off.
Oh,
I can't.
man.
The samurai calls. The samurai beckons.
Fair enough.
But no, I'm sure I'll be fine next week. I'm sure I'll be fine. It's just I've been talking too much. That's my problem. I'll just be silent for the next week. It's all good. But that's been your show. Thank you ever so much for listening. We'll be back next week for more. But until then, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Toodaloo.